Right, so Nadia, I'm going to put the Morley on you. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Does it have to go on a specific...
Well, in the old days, they would say men, married women and men on one side, and non-married. I don't believe in all of that.
You don't believe in all that? Okay.
I don't believe in all that. We just put it where it feels right.
Well, we live in modern times.
We live in modern times. So what it symbolises is protection. When I put it on you, I'm wishing for your protection. And I'm acknowledging our connection.
Okay.
Because, like the thread, we're all part of the same thread. Like, you look different, I look different, but we both have blood running through our veins. We're the same. And so when I put that on you, I'm acknowledging our connection and our shared vulnerabilities and our shared fears and the fact that we both need love. We all just need that, right? All we need is love.
All we need is love. Everybody needs love. So who would do this?
So then this we put on at Morley.
Okay,
these little bells.
Yeah.
And why we put the bells on is the 3 bells are to remind you there's to value your past. Nadia, we've all had hard times. All of us, like nobody's exempt from it.
Yeah.
But you can choose for it to make you bitter and sad, or you can choose for it to be the fuel in your fire.
Yeah.
And I think you've done that, from what I know of you. And then the middle one is to be present, very important. And not just, all the time. And yoga is very much about being present, more than the poses. And the third one, because if we're not present, then why are we even here? Like, we may as well be watching Married at First Sight.
Yeah.
Which I did get slightly addicted to.
Oh, really?
But now I've got off it. Oh, God, it's dreadful. It's the worst, trashiest TV. I do forward it, in fairness. Have you watched Beef?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think of that?
Really good.
Really good.
But, I don't know if anybody's...
Yeah.
It got really crazy. But I got really sucked into it because it's so weird and strange. But I really enjoyed seeing so many Asian actors.
Me too.
It was brilliantly done. Brilliantly done. And
and
why did you bring it up?
Why did I bring up? Oh, because that's a good program.
Oh right, no, that's
and being present. When I watched that, I was fully in it.
Yeah,
it was so good. And then the third bell is to think well for the future, because you don't know, I don't know. Be hopeful. You may as well, right?
Yeah,
the alternative. It's a
big
waste
fan
of time.
of hope.
Yes, good, exactly. And the thing is, when they fall off, let them fall off.
Yeah.
And my thread
and yours is withered.
Mine's withered, and it's kind of how we become as humans. We begin from the soil.
The metaphors.
We go back to the soil, and that's all we are.
I love all the metaphors. I'm a big one for. I love metaphors, and metaphors just really help me make sense of things. And I write when I'm writing, and I tell myself stories, and I write. Oh gosh, this is really noisy. I like it.
Yeah. It's a reminder.
But
so Nadia, tell me about the yoga manifesto. It does.
Yeah. Are
there metaphors in there that ring true for you?
Well, maybe not so many metaphors actually. I'm a big fan of metaphors in my own life, but what I've tried to do in the book, it's a memoir, so people who've read the book will know this already, but people who don't know, I'm asked all the time to explain the book and talk about what it is. So it's a memoir. It's about my relationship with yoga and yoga's relationship with the world, and yoga's, I would say, often in problematic relationship with the world, because I think it's become, particularly in the West, although also in South Asia, I've seen, the Western brand of yoga has kind of found its way back, and it's become a kind of complicated thing. So it's not a how to do yoga book, although lots of people have written to me and said that they've found inspiration to go to their first class, or
that's so lovely.
That teachers have got in touch with me and said that really unexpected things have happened. Teachers have got in touch with me and sort of said that it's helped them feel confident to try things in their own practice, things that they felt might be wrong, and felt inspired to sort of do that. So it's been really good. But like the 3 bells, I suppose, I felt like I've read lots of stories about yoga and how great yoga is for people, but I haven't read so many stories of people. I hadn't actually read a story like mine, somebody who's had sort of difficulties with yoga and got kind of stuck with it and had issues with it. And
how long, Nadia? How long have you practiced?
Started practicing when I was 16, so about 25 years.
Were you a defiant 16-year-old?
Well, I didn't want to practice yoga. I wasn't interested in it. I was quite a moody and difficult teenager, I'd say. But my mummy was insistent, and she took me to my first class,
and something
magical happened.
What, in that first class?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really strange because I really didn't want to go, and I tried to bring that first experience back into the book. So I wrote about it in the first. I wrote about that first class in my book, and it was really interesting going back there in my head and my mind because it was really subtle. It wasn't a fancy pants class because they didn't really exist back then in London, and I was in quite a bad way, and it was really simple. And I really believe in simplicity with practice, and the way I teach is quite simple. Yeah. Although, you know, we have fun and we learn things and we go deep, but I sometimes think taking all the furniture and the garnishings off that's kind of happened with yoga now is where the heart of the practice is. And I think something happened there, for me, and it started the ball rolling for.
And then when did you say, right, I want to be a teacher, I want to give my life to this?
That's interesting because that happened by accident as well. Like nothing was really planned. I don't want to give it away, but something quite big happened in my life, and everything sort of felt really burned to the ground, and I didn't really know what I was going to do now. But things I was doing before this thing happened didn't feel right anymore. And
was it like you were completely reborn, almost like a?
It's interesting you say that because it was a kind of rebirth of sorts, but not completely because I'm still me. Yeah. But yeah, it was a turning point and a crossroads, and I'd already done a couple of teacher trainings already in the past, but they were just for my own practice and for my own knowledge and deepening and study and discipline, really. But because I had the certificates, I was feeling lost, I started volunteering at a charity that taught yoga to refugees and asylum seekers. And then that kind of led, one thing sort of led to another, and then I had lots of mad experiences, and I've written about some of them in the book. I mean, some of them are crazy.
I can't wait to read. Okay.
Be good to hear what you think.
Yeah, and then Nadia, when you teach, I agree, like we can complicate life so much when it's actually much simpler. Your style of yoga, does it go back to like the hatha yoga that is traditionally taught? Is it much more dynamic, or what if I came to a Nadia class, what can I expect?
Oh, that's interesting. So it depends on what I'm, what I've decided to do, or what's been asked of me to do. Like, do we want to do something calm and grounding, or whatever it is? But generally, the key thing. I love teaching dynamic practice because I teach what I practice, and for me, as somebody who gets quite restless and, somebody who. My body is often, and somebody who's prone to anxiety, my body's, I think, often asking me to move. And for me, moving through the postures is very important. So you're
releasing all those toxins and all that but stagnant energy.
Also bringing the energy together and, harnessing the energy rather than just throwing it all out, which is something that can happen for me, particularly with anxiety and just getting scatty. Yeah,
so, which is the Vata imbalance.
Completely. And I have, and I think sometimes, we were talking about this before we sort of started chatting properly on camera, but I feel like sometimes I don't always help myself.
None of us do.
Not always doing the kind of nutrition things that are helpful for that. But also, I think I enjoy some of that kind of zany madness because that's where the creativity comes from.
Absolutely.
I think.
The Damien. It's a very difficult thing to be that manic person, but that's where the genius lies.
Crazy, like my ideas are going to come to me, but then also you need that spaciousness and the so I've kind of found my ways. But going back to the yoga, I think the dynamic practice works for me, but I'm a real big one for stillness and peace. And one of my favourite things to do is, and now we can because the weather's improving in the UK, in London, is when I find grass, in our park, to lie under a tree. And the earth, and really, I really value that now in later life, and as my practice has got deeper, and I've written about this in the book. Because practice for me is actually not just yoga anymore; it's a holistic thing. Yeah. But also, people
it's your life.
Yeah, but it's in my life, but it's an amalgam of so many things now that I don't ever. It's not just so. In answer to your question, it's not pure. Really, because I live in a Western country.
Yeah, and we have Netflix, right?
We have Netflix. I grew up in London, and I'm going to be teaching bodies that are living in an urban.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's an amalgam, but I think so. I think all of that's okay. I do it as truthfully as I can in terms of what I believe, and I also teach only what I practice. But and I speak from the heart, and people often say that to me, gosh, you always do it from the heart, and I find it quite tiring, but I find it so fulfilling, because it's the only way I could do it, really.
Yeah. Where do you want this book to take you?
I don't know. I mean, I know I'm copping out there, but I do think, I'm not really a big planner.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to be one of these strategic people who plans things.
Yeah.
And there's hope for me yet. Maybe I will be one day.
Yeah.
I don't know. But generally, to be honest, with the writing, I kind of just wrote what was there.
Yeah.
And what I've been doing with the book in terms of like traveling around this country and meeting lots of brilliant people, doing events and things, has happened organically. Like, brilliant. I've reached out to people have reached out to me, you reached out to me, and I've got to meet some really interesting people and had really great conversations and relationships, and making really brilliant, meeting a lot of women actually, and making really great, deep, instant new friendships. Yeah. So
that's the beauty of social media, isn't it? Really is.
But like meeting people IRL. Yes. But like having like really, I've developed a few like really deep, profound friendships with women, and older women actually. I just love that. Yeah. So I think what I kind of wanted, or I didn't actually have any hopes of the book. I was kind of thinking, I've written it, I've got it off my chest, I hope people like it. Yeah. And then the fact that it's been coming back with lots of people saying, that it's helping them and in various different ways is wonderful. And I'm still quite gobsmacked actually when I meet people and they come and tell me, and there's tears sometimes, and I feel so moved, like because I've been quite raw in the book and I talked about my difficulties in life.
Do those, I know you mentioned the anxiety, but there's a profound moment in the book, I think. Has that passed now? That situation?
It wasn't just one.
It was a series of...
There's lots of different things.
Numbing? Were you numbing?
Pain, yeah.
Yeah, numbing pain. And did yoga help you release that pain?
That's a complicated answer, and it's taken me a book to, I think, answer, because at times maybe at times maybe not, because the yoga, because obviously I started practicing when I was 16, not consistently, and it changed my life, from that day. I started practicing then, and I actually developed a drinking problem way later. So that's the kind of complicated relationship. And also because I'm probably a complicated person, but I'm not the only person in the world who is not been straightforward. So and grief and breakups, heartache, all these things have happened to me, that have happened to other people, that will happen to people, and will happen to me again. And
do you pray?
I discuss all of that in the book.
Do you pray, Nadia?
That's a really profound question. I don't think so.
No.
But I think I sometimes...
So who do you call on? When you have
real people.
You call on?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so, yeah. Asking for help has been when things have got better for me. Yeah. But every time I asked for help was after a really long time and I'm quite stubborn. Yeah. And I'm stubborn in a way that serves me. Like, I suppose when I wanted to give up on writing the book, there were times I wanted to throw it in the bin, and I pushed through. Yeah. And there are times when I'm stubborn and I won't ask for help because I'm going to do it myself. And I still have that in me. Yeah. But the times when things have changed and got better were when I've been on my knees and I've asked for help.
Yeah. But you've asked friends for help.
My mum usually.
Oh, that's lovely.
Has been there. Yeah, it's usually my mum.
Yeah.
So I don't know what
she knows you like no other.
And I think I was lucky because the first time I asked her for help, I didn't ask her for help because I wasn't sure how it was going to go. Yeah. And she was amazing, and I think I had so much shame. Yeah. There's so much shame wrapped up in this stuff. I had so much shame. But I wish I'd asked her sooner, because she was heartbroken for me, as any mum would be, because I was destroying myself. And I think that, but she really took care of me, and I really wish I'd asked her sooner, because things would have got better sooner.
Is it an ongoing shaking off the shame? Because so many women have it. I had it. I think I still have it to an extent.
What about?
What's my shame about? Like maybe not being good enough, or you pick up the signal when you're younger that you're not pretty enough, and that's important. Or
but do you know where these things came from?
Wrong.
Have you done work
I think they come from many little moments, and you internalize them, even though they're not really yours to own. So one thing happens, and then that thing knocks you, and then everything that happens, almost everything, you begin to say, well, that's my fault, or that's my doing, or that's my shame. And the more you do it, right?